15 seconds.
Hail and well met friends, Andang here for the Ask Andang Anything 200,000 views special with some people that have aired on the YouTube channel with me. I have Sprydra,
Hello.
Athelros.
Yeah, hi.
Hey Athelros. I have the great and powerful Pineleaf.
Great and powerful?
Great and powerful, like the wizard.
If you say so. The not so great and powerful Pine Leaf substitute here.
That's right. And I have Draculetta.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, and look, we're all here. So the way that this is going to work is that people are going to ask me anything, which kind of scares me a little bit. Gotta be honest, allowing that can of worms to open up. But just feel free to ask any questions at all. That is scary. So, Athelros, why don't you go ahead and ask the first question?
Yep, the first question we have here is from Braxwolf, who is actually not here. And his question is, what's on your face?
Well, see, at the time of the video that this was asked, there actually was something on my face. And it has since migrated off my face due to some scissors and razors at the wonderful establishment known as the Haircutting Salon in somewhere in Oklahoma. And basically all this hair has just migrated into a tumbleweed. And soon it will be just rolling across the plains of Oklahoma as like Andang's hair. And it will take over small children and like steal their ice cream and do all sorts of terrible things. That's what's on my face. Or at least was. Next question.
I didn't know what to say to that.
We don't even live in that part of Oklahoma. What's wrong with you?
My hair will find a way.
They'll export it to the right place of Oklahoma.
That's right.
It's very strange. The second question is actually one from beforehand, asking where is it going to be live streamed? So Twitch or YouTube?
It will be live streamed on YouTube. Yes. There you go.
Will is in the future tense.
It will in like a second. Oh, look, there it is on YouTube. And it's still there. Look at that.
Look at it being on YouTube.
It is. It is there. Next question.
The third question is by Red Sky LB, and they ask, do you know the Muffin Man?
I actually don't know the Muffin Man, but I do know the Muffin Woman, and her name is Martha White, and she makes amazing wild berry muffin mix that you can just add milk, and if you look on the back here, it's just half a cup of milk, and you heat the oven to 425, and you just lightly spray 6 medium muffin cups. And I actually had these muffins this morning, and they were delicious. But if you do want one from the male variety, I do know the Pillsbury Doughboy, who has some very great blueberry muffins, where you just add milk as well. And I highly recommend Martha White's muffins, not the Pillsbury Doughboy. Let's just throw those over there. And so that's I don't know the Muffin Man, but I do know some very good muffin makers. Not personally, just from their packaging.
I might be committing sacrilege here, but I don't really like muffins that much.
You are a horrible person once a week. When
But
I
do you like
really
cupcakes?
want muffins.
Cupcakes are nice, I suppose.
Good, because muffins are just ugly cupcakes.
What do you not like, Athelros?
That's a strange definition. I don't know, I just haven't been fussed on them.
Okay. Next question.
Okay. This one is from Lily Kate. And
Here we
she
go.
asked, this is a full couple sentences here. So she says, Andang, Lizzie was unimpressed by Little Player's adventures. I can't keep her watching Fellowship of the Creeps forever. Will there be more monster play action?
I got an audio recording from Lizzie, and it broke my heart, honestly, because she was asking, and whenever you hear a small 5-year-old girl, I believe she's 5, ask for something in such a polite way and be so sad that you quit something, it makes you very unhappy. That being said, my hatred for the creep side of things is a little bit worse, I think, just because of the way that the balance is right now. If we get time and if Turbine actually spends time balancing stuff, we might return to PvP someday, maybe even on adventures. So, there's that.
Pretty much.
Alright, next question.
Ah, God. I actually don't want to ask this question, but Legolas Greenleaf asks, when are you and Etheros planning on running away together to Middle Earth?
Okay, so we're actually going to do this today. We actually have tickets already, and it's going to be great. We're going to go together and be there forever. No, we're not going anywhere. Don't even suggest that. No, it's not
This
going to
is the
happen.
first I heard of it.
It's not going to happen. We're not going to run anywhere in Middle Earth together.
But they might go to New Zealand.
Why don't we just
we should go to New Zealand.
go there together and then go
We-
our own ways?
We will go one at a time, separately, to where we're going,
Okay, we'll take different flights.
and
Well,
travel
see, one's going
guides
from
and.
Wales and the other from Oklahoma.
We're talking about going to Middle Earth, Paddy. It's not exactly a logical question.
Oh, I thought you meant New Zealand.
Oh goodness!
No, it's still too close to Australia.
It is
Pretty eat it.
relatively close to Australia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
The next question is from Zinger,
Mm-hmm.
and his question is, what prompted you to start playing Lord of the Rings online? Smiley face.
That's a good question. Free to play. But before that, I was in the beta. But what actually prompted me to really get to play Lord of the Rings Online was free to play. And it's because I just really love Tolkien. Really, really love Tolkien. So much so that behind me you'll see the Hobbit poster of the good Hobbit movie, not the terrible one. And here, and let me see if I can get it underneath this cord here. Here is a ginormous poster for Lord of the Rings. I think it's this way. So there is that. So that's kind of why I'm a giant fan of Lord of the Rings. I don't know what that proved, but I do have one of those. So there you go. Also, there's the Blu-ray edition of Lord of the Rings, and this thing will get anyone interested in Lord of the Rings. I promise you. Andang's promise. Seal of approval. Not applicable in any country, but it will get you to love Lord of the Rings to some capacity. Beyond that, I think that the community kept me playing Lotro for sure. I would not still be playing Lotro just for Tolkien stuff, I don't think. I think that the MMO is needed, I think, in order to keep you playing. So, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Next question. What other games, any genre or platform, are you currently playing?
Currently, well, there's a thing called StarCraft 2. And it is great to play if you're interested. Fun fact, Husky StarCraft is actually kind of got me into the whole commentating thing for Lotro. And that's why I'm so energetic and excited about everything when I commentate. Not, I like to think that I have a very, very different style than him, because I do. I'm not near as good, but I do think that that's really what got me into commentating for Lotro quite a bit, was think about seeing how much fun he has in his videos and trying to bring some of that to Lotro, because Lotro right now, as far as people who are doing playthroughs through Lotro, there's Sirith, or isn't that her name? And me and maybe one or two other people, and I think that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Pineleaf and Braxwolf. Alright.
So does that mean that if they put out a War of StarCraft, you'll start playing it?
A War of StarCraft. A world of StarCraft, I think you
no,
mean.
a world of StarCraft.
It would have to be implemented pretty well. I am not interested in World of Warcraft, even though I do like the World of Warcraft games. Oh, I didn't finish answering the rest of these. I just kind of got hung up on StarCraft 2. Spore. Spore is a great game. I recommend everybody gets it. It's like The Sims, but a lot more interesting, and you get to create stuff and conquer worlds. Uncharted 2 is a great game. I'm not currently playing it, but man, it's a good game for PS3. Very good. Very good game. Age of Empires 3, I am probably going to do a playthrough someday of this. But right now, honestly, the only games that I'm actually playing is the ones that I do my playthroughs through, because I only, right now anyway, am playing games for playthrough purposes. One thing that I do play every now and again without doing a playthrough is Civ 4 with my father and sister. That's a lot of fun.
We haven't done that in like a year.
No, we
Years
haven't,
ago.
but maybe someday we will do a video of that, because I think that'd be fun. Since the Solar Empire is a neat RTS as well, and so is Supreme Commander. Go buy them. They're not paying me to say that, but go buy them. Alright, I think that answers what my favorite games are and stuff. There's a lot more than that on Steam, but anyway, continue.
I can imagine. That's the last of the preset questions. One we have from the chat now is from Melodramatic Ninja, which is a great name, by the way.
That is an awesome name. Let's just think about that for a moment. Melodramatic Ninja. What does that imply? Just like
Ninja who...
I just imagine them like, oh, my ninja star is stuck in its pocket. How did this happen? Oh no, the ninja star, it's stuck in the packet. Oh.
You'd think making a big deal out of something is kind of counter to what a ninja does.
You would think, and that's why I love this name. That is awesome.
Yep, and they ask, who is your favorite Tolkien character?
Hey do, Mary do, it's Tom Bombadil here, and I am going to be your favorite character for today.
Could have started off Bombadil when it's a glow. I mean,
Yeah, this is Glewine Theros. You better know. You just wanted me to get in this voice, that's all. See how I have a little bit of a lisp? That's the difference.
okay. So why is he your favorite character? Tom Bombadil.
Why? Why is he my favorite character? See, he didn't ask that, but I'm assuming you are now. Why? Oh, goodness. Well, his boots are yellow. That's a big plus. How many Lord of the Rings characters do you know whose boots are yellow? I mean, let's be honest with this
Because
right now.
Not because
He doesn't
of
have a
bright
real
blue
reason.
his
He just
jacket
likes
is.
I mean, his jacket's great. He has a nice wife. He has a lot of good things about him. He sings songs. He's also arguably the most powerful character that's not taking the role of God in the game, in the mythos. And so I think that is what really draws me to him, because he's this real humble guy that has a whole lot of power and could just own anything instantly in the Third Age especially. And I think that's the real reason why I just love Tom Bombadil. And Lotro gave him the weirdest voice ever. And so that makes it easy to do when you're having fun. And so I think I've had more fun with Tom Bombadil by far than any other character. Sorry, Glowin. It's okay. Anyway. Continue.
He dances around everywhere.
Alright, so let's go ahead and go around the horn here and have you guys ask your questions that you had. So, go ahead, people. Spryder, ask your question.
Yes, I
What?
believe you did.
What is your favorite? No, 2 favorite colors.
Blue! No, yellow!
Ooh.
Yellow! And red. Those are my favorite colors. I don't know what it is about red. I hate the sight of blood, so that's like a major negative to the color red. I do get squeamish at the color red. Not the color red, but at blood. But there's just something about red that makes it be awesome. It's culturally, which I don't really buy into this thing, but it is like the guy's color kind of thing. So I think that subconsciously that's probably part of our reason. And also it's kind of like a color of war, which I don't like war, but I do like history, and history has a lot of war, and so that makes red be a neat color. But then that leads back to the blood, so it's contradictory. But the color red is my favorite color. So there you go. Way more information than you probably wanted to know. All right.
No.
Pine Leaf, you had a question.
Wait, I said 2 favorite colors. Hold on.
I
Second
gave
favorite
you.
color.
It's blue or yellow. I don't know. And red. Honestly,
All right.
blue and red are my favorite.
We'll
but anyway,
say
continue.
blue and red, because both those together are the color of blood.
Thank you, Pine Leaf. Thank you, Pine Leaf.
Very helpful.
I think we need to do a Ask Pine Leaf Anything.
It'll never end.
Try to find something
You-
Pine Leaf doesn't know the answer to. That's what we should do.
Stump
I
Pine
think-
Leaf.
Stump
That's
Pine
right.
Leaf.
I think that'll be easy enough.
Perplex Pine Leaf.
I'm sure that'll be easy enough to achieve.
So anyway, Pine Leaf, what's your question?
Very well. What is your next planned major series startup? On your
Major
YouTube channel?
series. So would you consider the one that I started 2 days ago a major series?
2 days ago? You were just continuing.
That's
a
true, I am
previous series,
continuing.
I believe.
Does starting update 13 playthrough count?
I guess that could count.
That is my next big thing for sure. I am going to be going through that. I'm hopefully going to be releasing a lot more content, at least for the rest of this week for sure. If you noticed, I've been releasing about 3 videos a day recently, so that's been something that's been going on. I'm going to try to continue that the rest of the week, which means Epic Story, now I can't even, Nord Invasion, and then something else. I'll have to think of something else. Possibly War in the North playthrough if I get through enough of the Epic Story soon enough.
Ugh.
And we did have all kinds of issues, which I guess this is a good time to talk about. We had all kinds of issues with our War in the North playthrough because of silly Steam communication garbage. It actually requires you to have communication turned on in Steam, so that's voice chat turned on. And even if you have the setting as push to talk, it will still transmit your voice over the game, which is the stupidest design ever because the voice chat cuts out every 2 seconds, and so it'd be utterly unlistenable. And so that means I'll be doing a War in the North playthrough by myself if I do go through it, which I'm not too excited about. Kind of took my excitement out of doing the playthrough. And then there's also Lego Lord of the Rings that I'm going to get to as well, which I guess people can vote on in the comments below what they want to see next. So there you go. All right, Drac, what was your question?
What made you want to start streaming?
Streaming or YouTube?
YouTube. We'll go YouTube.
Okay. Well, I had an idea for a PvP show with Ivan. And so really it was just getting a PvP podcast out there. And to do that, I decided I would go ahead and start off my channel with some of the Riders of Rohan beta coverage, which overnight, and I had to delete these videos later, which I'll talk about in a minute, but overnight I had thousands of views on my channel. Literally got to 10,000 views within the first week of my channel being around, because of the Riders of Rohan beta coverage that ended up on CSTM, which then ended up on Massively, ended up on other places as well, like MMORPG.com, which is just amazing that you can get your content, brand new YouTube channel, instantly get it out there. And a large part of it, I think, was because if I would have done it by myself, those videos probably would not have been featured anywhere. But because I was new to podcasting and all that sort of stuff. But because Sprider was with me, I think that helped me really get through it and start out at strong. If you go and watch some of my early if you go out and watch some of my early epic story playthroughs, like episode 1, it's unlistenable to me anyway. It's terrible. Don't go watch it because you'll unsubscribe immediately, probably. It's terrible. And that's because it took me forever to get good at talking to myself and talking to no one and being able to hold an audience's attention for 20 minutes. That's a long time to hold attention of somebody, especially on YouTube. And so basically just listening to myself, which I hated the sound of my voice at the beginning, and going over it and getting it to somewhere where I'm actually now at a point where I'm still trying to improve and do all that stuff, but I'm much more comfortable with my voice and much more I know I have a much better product out there for the mass majority of people would consider, at least. And yeah, so that kind of just grew from there. And one sad thing that happened was I made it to, I think it was like 45,000 views within 6 months. And that was when I decided I really, really wanted to get partnered and start doing that stuff, which caused me to delete my most popular videos and go back to less than 10,000 views on my channel. So basically I hit the reset button after 6 months of working on my channel. And that was not an easy decision at all. But it needed to happen if I was to continue putting the amount of time I needed to be getting something back for my hobby, have it at least pay for itself. Which it does now, thankfully. Otherwise I might not still be doing this, because it does take a lot of work and a lot of time to make the content and then edit it and then put it up, which I do now edit the epic story stuff just because of the traveling. You have to cut out all the traveling, and that's just terrible. But anyway, that's what happened there. So hopefully that answered your question. I don't remember what it was, but I kind of just went on a monologue there. All right, so Atharos, do you have a question?
Yeah, I spent this time making one up. What is your MMO history outside of Lotro?
Ooh, well, it all started with RuneScape.
Oh,
RuneScape
yeah.
was the MMO for me anyway back in the day. It was the first game of any kind where my school actually got into it. Like even like the coolest guys, and even a lot of the coolest girls in junior high were playing RuneScape at my school, and my school actually has 1,000 kids per grade. So a large majority of those kids were playing RuneScape from my school. And so not only did I have the in-game like social interaction, but then when you go to the lunch table on Monday morning, you get to talk about all the cool stuff you did in group and stuff like that in RuneScape, and how you found like this one recipe that got you to do this much better at something, and it was really interesting to have that kind of in-game, out-of-game be so close together, and have it actually affect like the social structure of school. Like the cool kids were playing RuneScape, not which is weird. I definitely wasn't one of the cool kids back then, but it was interesting to see how that worked. So that's definitely what got me into RuneScape and MMOs by definition. And since then, I've played just about every single free-to-play MMO that is mainstream. So Star Trek, DC Universe, Champions Online. I did play a little bit of Ultima Anarchy Online, I think that's what it's called. But what else? Lots of them.
SWOTOR
SWOTOR.
for a little while.
Oh, lots of them. And then ESO obviously coming up. All sorts of MMOs. Oh, at least over 50 probably, even though I can't think of them all off the top of my head. But yeah, I just kind of caught the bug. I never really stuck with any aside from RuneScape, which I got to be around level 80 something. And in SWTOR, I stayed with probably longer than most. I got to around level 35 or so, which isn't very long, but considering the amount of MMOs I played, that's a decent amount of time, I think. And obviously in LOTRO I'm at 95, and I plan to play ESO for a long time. So there you go. That answers that, hopefully. Does anybody else have any other questions, Spydra, or the chat room? Please, chat room.
Nothing from stream yet. Actually, I do have one minor question though.
Okay.
How did you come up with your jingle?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, actually. But I knew I needed a
Travesty.
jingle. I knew I needed a jingle because all the good YouTubers like Tobuscus and people like that had jingles. Not saying that mine's a good jingle, but at least I have one. That's like start of the the thing that you need. You have to have a
I mean,
jingle.
unlike certain other people.
I don't know what you're talking about, Pineleaf. I'm just waiting for you to, maybe there's a reason you haven't, gotten 200,000 views yet. It's because you don't have a jingle. You need a jingle, Pineleaf. Get a jingle. No, but and now I'm kind of stuck with it, so I'm not sure because I tried to get rid of it one point, but people liked it enough to where they decided to keep it. But I did change the visualization of it to where now I have the Drake thing or whatever game I'm playing, it'll be in the background there, which hopefully makes it be a little bit more topical as opposed to just a blank image. But yeah, it's just a screen that you use to try to get people to subscribe, which is a major part of YouTube. And even American Golden Star stuck it on their podcast, which I did not realize how addicting it was until they brought it up on their show. But I just wanted a jingle that would get stuck in my head because I figured it might get stuck in other people's heads, and it seems to have worked. And I think that helped me get quite a few subscribers. I know once I implemented the jingle that my subscriber count almost doubled overnight, which is pretty amazing. So yeah. There's a couple more questions coming in now.
Mm-hmm. The first one I saw is from Zinga again, and he asks, "What, if any, TV shows do you enjoy watching?"
Enjoy. All right. Well, this TV show is not anymore going, but it just ended on Netflix, and it's called Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And my
Which is
goodness,
wonderful.
that is an amazing series. And Spydra is still not through season 6. She watched 2 episodes and decided, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. And I was
10
like,
o'clock at
no,
night.
you have to watch 10 o'clock at night. Is that late, anybody? I mean, for someone
I had
her
to get up
age,
Yes.
early the next day.
for someone
I don't think I can really say it's late for me, can I?
no, you can't. And so I just love that series. The first 2 seasons are but once you get into 3rd season, and especially the 5th season, the 5th season is a must watch by everybody, in my opinion. It's amazing. The ending is some of the best writing out there. Continuing the animated series line of thought, Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra,
Yes.
both amazing shows. Myself and Atharos talked about it on Fellowship of the Creeps pretty extensively, I think, and Spydra, I guess.
Yeah, include me.
I really, really love Avatar. I can't wait to see where Legend of Korra continues to go. It is amazing. Other TV shows, Community. Community is a good show in my opinion. It's not for every age group, particularly younger people, but because it does get a little gross sometimes. But it is a good show. It makes me laugh, and that's the key thing. I really enjoy comedies, comedy shows. Also, Parks and Recreation is probably my favorite non-animated TV show for sure. I don't think I could decide if you included the animated as well. But Parks and Recreation is a fantastic show on such a simple premise, and it's just the cast and some of the writing that allows it to be interesting. Because if you think about it, a government office could be a very, 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 very boring show, especially in the parks department. Um, and so they did a great job of making that show be amazing. I also watched The Office a while ago. I stopped watching a couple seasons before it ended, the American version, that is. Um, so yeah, there was that as well. Outside that, recently, I don't think I've watched too many other TV shows. But comedies are good. It's just hard. It's getting harder and harder to find good comedies these days. That are being created, at least. There's a lot of good old ones. So anyway, there you go, Zinger.
The next question comes from Peter Morris, and he says, "Hey Andang, great show and videos. In Update 13,
Thank
is
you.
there a new daily area, or is it just a zone with a beginning and end?"
I'm gonna phone a friend, Athelros. Is there a new daily area or anything like that? I don't know.
All right, you can only use that once.
Oh wow, that should have known that beforehand. I deserve another one just because I didn't know about this beforehand. I would
Yeah,
have
we'll
saved
give
it.
another one.
I would have saved it. Sprider gave me
I
one. I
guess.
can phone her. All right. I
You can phone her.
actually can literally phone her because I know her phone number. But anyway.
Literally.
All right.
Literally.
In Update 13, there is a new epic book, which is going to be about a dozen or so quests, I would
Yeah.
think, possibly more. There's also two technically new areas. One, which is the Entwood, another part of Fangon, which is fairly small, actually. I think I heard someone decided to describe it as around the size of Frost Bluff, the Yule Festival area, which is pretty accurate. And also, there's a different version of Isengard, which is all post-Ent attack. Those two areas will be full of quests, most likely. And on top of that, there will be a daily area in the Endwood where you... it's a rep area, pretty much. You do dailies. Kind of like bullish, I've heard it described. So yeah, you will have a beginning and end, and also
Is-
a daily area.
Are those dailies the resource instances, or are those something else?
I believe they are something else, but the daily resource dailies might be either connected to it or in the same area.
Okay.
Okay.
So there you go.
Awesome. So why don't we go around the horn here and favorite moment that you've had, either in a podcast or video or anything that's been on my channel, or maybe a favorite moment that you from one of my videos. So yeah, let's start with Athelros on this one. It's a tough question.
Yeah, especially since you just asked and I have to think first.
Does anyone have an answer yet that popped in their head?
No.
No?
Thanks. 5 minutes of time, did you?
I think my favorite one was when Sprider was testing out the live stream technology, and she kept telling me to
Don't
be
remember
quiet.
this.
She kept telling me to be quiet and like yelling at me on the stream, and it's awesome. It's the one where you're doing the Hype Bowl dailies, and you
I
were
still don't
going through
remember
it.
this.
Pineleaf does because he did the follow-up video and didn't cover everything, but it was awesome.
Actually, a lot of your Wildemore stuff was pretty funny. Main thing being the goat, as I remember it, because they just kept following you around after the quest was done.
Yes, the goat. The goat. Oh, goodness. That was something.
What about Bessie?
Don't you dare, Pineleaf. That will not take place here. No. So, Pineleaf, what about you? What do you think?
Favorite moment. Let's see. We had the.
Well, that's good. So, Spydra.
Yes,
I kind of have two that are running. One is
Unacceptable.
one that's no longer. Be quiet.
See, she's doing it.
No, my first one is like the very first thing I did with Andang, and that was going through the new Rohan zone, which is no longer available for you to see. But that's okay. He let me outline the changes for the burglar class and show people how the stealth system works.
Oh,
and
that
how
was
I
so
really-
good. The stealth. I forgot all about that, and that's not even on my channel anymore because of the partnership.
No,
But that was such
it's
a
not.
good. Ah, that was really good.
I really
In
loved that.
disguise.
Oh, that's a funny
And
clip.
then my second favorite was when we ended Fellowship of the Creeps. And
Oh, that is. Lizzie is going to like come. She's already swimming across the Atlantic, coming over with like Ghost Tolkien to come and like slap you in the face. It's happening right now.
Hulk Lizzie.
But,
Lizzie smash.
Oh my goodness.
but
Drac.
no, I really,
Oh, go ahead,
I am
Spider.
not. I really do like the new Lotro Players Adventures. I think
Yeah.
it's a lot better.
I enjoy it so much more. At the very least, it has, because we're doing something different each week. The show will be different each week, and that creates
Exactly.
entertainment value, in my opinion, at least. Where you aren't. We got into a slump. We got into a slump where we were literally doing the same thing. There was nothing we could do that would be different without like really thinking hard about it and trying a lot, which is something that show is never designed to do in the first place. So it was definitely time to end it, and it's sad that it happened. But Adventures is a lot more fun, and I think that opening it up to other people, at the very least, we have more people joining us now than we have ever. So that is something.
Actually, what's really happy is we're done with Fornost.
That
Yes.
would be mine, yes.
Yes. Yes. And we're getting more questions in chat. I thought let's keep them going. And Drac, what's your favorite moment?
I actually have two. My first one, I don't know if it actually ever made it into one of your videos or not, but it
Okay.
was during the Helm's Deep beta. We were playing, and I got stuck in a really weird animation loop, and you laughed so hard, and you could not quit laughing because it looked kind of funny. Actually,
It was
It's
awesome.
really hard to explain exactly what my character was doing, but
Drac,
yeah.
there is a blooper video on my channel for Helm's Deep that
Is
has that
there?
in it. Yes, there is. And it's to music, so you need to go watch it.
I
It's
guess
hilarious.
I have to see that. I didn't know
It's
you actually
hilarious.
included it anyway.
It's great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's funny.
That was a pretty fun time.
All right, and what's your other one?
Lotro Players Adventures, actually.
Yeah. All right, Pine Leaf.
Yes, there is the. I guess you call it the stairway to heaven at the end of the
Yes.
at the end of the beta when you're jumping along all the tables and rocks and all that stuff at the end of the beta, trying to get up to the top.
My other favorite moment, and I don't know if this has happened, but please watch through my skirmish videos with Pine Leaf to find out, is when I knew something about skirmishes that Pine Leaf didn't. Probably never happened, but if it did, that is my favorite moment.
Dreams of reality, that is.
Goodness.
Like me to start with the chat questions?
Yes, the next round of chat questions.
All right. The first question we got here is from Krell, and he says, if you could say one thing to someone at the management of Turbine, what would it be?
So if I could say one thing to the management at Turbine,
Someone at the management, yeah.
come on Lotro Players News, and let's chat about how to improve Lotro.
That's good.
That would
That's
be
actually
my
pretty good.
one thing, because then that would open up an hour or more of chat with them, so that we could actually give them some of the ideas from community development. The other one would be Nazgul play. Just throwing out that.
That's cool play.
They would make millions.
Oh.
Anyway, continue. Next question.
Yep, the next question is from the Uruk Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, what do you think is the best new option for a new class in Lotro?
Best new option. I'm opening this up to everyone because this has kind of been a question as well. Best new option for a class in Lotro.
Dwarf Warden.
and just call it something different to appease Pineleaf, so that you can actually have a dwarf warden that's a little bit hardier than the other wardens, so that Pineleaf can be happy with it. Yeah. Okay, I am down with that idea. The Baruch Kazad warden class. It's a special subclass. Oh goodness.
Instead of spears, they use toothpicks, and they're twice as deadly.
Okay, I don't know what version of Tolkien you read, but don't think that that's how it works.
Yeah, I think it's about the new class they have announced recently.
Yeah, the Bjornings are not very likely at all, but
I'm glad you said it, not me.
it is out
That's-
there.
I'm sorry, that's more of a race than a class.
It is, but
Well-
classes can go with races and things like that. So
Actually, I don't think they will have a class that's associated with only one race, simply
I agree.
because they want to be able to sell it to as many people as possible. If someone hates that race, they're not going to get the class.
that's why they're introducing
So-
vampire bats as well.
Yes. So I think it's more
Bunny
likely
just says
to
yes.
be something generic like a skin changer than it would be to something specific like a Bjorning.
Yeah, and those do exist in Tolkien's lore as well, so that's a thing.
Right. The Bjornings are just a subset.
Yep,
of
you're right. That would be
skin
interesting.
changers.
That would be interesting. I could see that. Just make it be race of man, maybe race of elf. Yeah, I could see that.
Hey, you could see, those hobbits turning into Wolverines.
Our,
That's,
this week's episode of Ask Andang Anything is brought to you by Pineleaf Sound Effects. Pineleaf has been making sound effects since birth. I don't know. Anyway, continue on.
the next question is
Wait, weren't we going to go around the horn on that one? Sorry. I messed you up on that one. What do you guys think? Spydra, answer.
Don't appreciate this. I have no idea, honestly,
Yeah,
because they have the bases pretty well covered.
I know. It's a tough one. Unless they have a naval combat class.
No way.
Think about it. The Brandywine would never be the same, Pineleaf. Be a whole new Lotro. Anybody else have any predictions, thoughts, comments, questions?
frankly, I'm too scared to suggest anything else due to
Well,
prior
you
trauma.
Guaranteed if I came up with a suggestion, it'll be wrong, so.
That's right.
So we could know that. That's why I was saying that when you're all you guys, it sounded like in the last Local Players episode, a great number of people were saying they're hoping it would be a skin changer. And I was thinking, no, I'm not even going to try to predict that, because if I predicted that, then obviously it won't happen. So.
That's right, Pineleaf.
And you notice I didn't say anything during that conversation either.
And you didn't say anything during this one either.
Oh,
Hang on the fence there.
No, I actually said on Twitter the other day, Zinger and Braxwolf shamed me into tweeting my guess on Twitter. So if anybody follows me on Twitter, they know what I said. But I said the Shield Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Shield Maiden's another one which I think is too specific to a single race.
All
I'm
right.
just saying that I think that Turbine is unlikely to do something that's going to be highly limiting, so to speak.
You know, I thought about that too, but what are they going to do? Because, like Spider said, they have pretty much everything covered at this point. So they're going to have to do something. Either it's going to be like a dual class, or it's going to be very limited, or I don't know what they're going to do and what they're thinking.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it is hard to come up with what they're going. Is like one of the things. A dual class is something, right? That can possibly, because they did say it has to be something that it's something that was made possible by the class changes. So whatever that means, I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm surprised we're up to 11 viewers right now.
It's good.
That is good.
They want to hear your prediction.
Yeah.
Are we done with that then?
Yes. Assuming that no one else wants to do anything.
I'm fine with it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one is from Melodramatic Ninja again.
Best name ever.
Your
Love that
Apple
name.
Blossom's pretty good too, though.
Yar Apple Blossom. Iluvatar. A pirate.
Wait.
Dear. I forgot what it was.
I would too
yeah,
after
they
that.
They were asking, do you think PvMP will be balanced? Or ever think PvP
Do I think PvP will ever be balanced again? Yes. Yes, I do. That being said, that does not mean it will be balanced again. I'm hopeful, positive. I mean, they've made a great stride. Allowing more players into PvP means that they're going to have more people complaining about how unbalanced it is. So that opens up a window for them to take a more serious look at PvP and try to really think about concepts and ways to improve it. The more people they can get into PvP, the closer we will be to seeing improvements. That being said, who knows if we'll ever see PvP balanced again. I'm hopeful, yes, but I don't know. There's no way of knowing.
All right. This one is asking, do you think the piece, I think that's player council, implementation as we've witnessed thus far went far enough? Do you think that more checks and balances are needed by the developers?
I think that we don't know what the player council does, first of all. We have no idea what the player council is actually doing. Because of that, there's no way of knowing if they're going far enough with the player council. I think if they include them on everything, like literally every little change, that will be a waste of their time and the developers' time if you include them on everything. I think if you include them overall broad things and then allow them to make suggestions and have like a suggestion box where, you know, they put in their suggestions and they actually get read by Turbine and not just like thrown into the fire, then that is a then, you know, it's progress. At the very least, if you've noticed, the devs seem to be actually listening to us and actually paying attention for the first time since free to play. And that is a big, big deal. Since Jeffrey Stiefel left, I think that there's been a major, major lack of communication in Lotro, a major, major lack of general, just common sense in Lotro, even by the developers in some cases. And I'm so glad that things are opening it up. Hopefully the player council will keep pushing to get more and more involved in things, and Turbine will let them, because so far, even if it's not the player council that's making these changes, something seems to be working. I think getting Rowan at the head has made a huge, huge difference, because he's talking to us. Kate never really talked to us, and if you don't talk to your player base, even if you're like reading from them, if you don't give feedback, then they can't react to your feedback and what you're saying. And if that doesn't happen, then you can't, you know, they're only reacting to what's already in the game, and that means that it won't be like revised for a long time. And so I think that the way that they're doing things right now, and especially with the Sapiens live streams and things like that, it has completely changed the way that the community is working, and it's going in a positive direction. It's still not where it needs to be, but it's moving a lot closer than where it's ever been before.
No one else has anything to add?
Anybody? Finally, Brax isn't here. Anybody?
I would note that I think the biggest problem with the player council right now is that we just don't know anything about it, really, what's going on, because they haven't told us directly anything that... I mean, we've had like notes in patch notes saying that player council help with so-and-so, but it's really not much. We don't know exactly how it works over there. It's all kind of doors shut and windows locked, and it's hard to get any kind of info. Okay. Again, from Zinger. In 10 words or under, what is the meaning of life?
42.
Yep, pretty much everyone else answered that too. Uh, and this isn't a question either, but Zinger says he'll only play the Hobbit shapeshifter. Turbine gets Pineleaf to do the voices. Totes faux shows.
Turbine should just have Pineleaf like on call, so that at midnight, if they need a voice and there's no one out there, they can just call up Pineleaf and know that they'll get a needly voice that is needily ready.
And
Good grief.
if you want this mental image, then Dwarf Shield Nations, that would be hot.
As long as they have their shirts on, I'm good.
No. No, it would not.
Jack wants them with their shirts off. Okay.
No, no. The world
That is
does
true.
not need a shirtless dwarf ever. There is no reason to have a shirtless dwarf.
And yet, pretty much every Loto streamer's had one.
Pretty much every Lotro stream, like not just Lotro, but like MMO Reporter. I think ours had a shirtless dwarf at some point during the Fellowship Walk. I can almost guarantee you, if not, definitely during Weatherstock. Every single Lotro live stream that is like announced beforehand has had a shirtless dwarf at it, and we can thank Turbine for that. Or get very angry at them, but either way, it's there.
And this one, next one, is from somebody called Draculetta. Strange.
That is strange.
And they said, pirates or ninjas? Go.
I choose go.
That's not a third option.
I think it's an option. It says pirates or ninjas, ... go. Yeah, it's or vampires. See, you didn't even read the third option. I had to choose go for you. Not vampires. Sorry, Draculetta. I'm just gonna crush your dream. You should
I
be.
am crushed and hurt.
I am happy now. That's a tough. I think ninjas. Is this in a fight, or is this a personal preference?
Just personal preference.
Because in a fight, ninjas will win hands down. But personal preference, pirates are awesome because they have amazing voices. I'm not gonna do a
Okay,
pirate voice.
So you wanna?
You already
You already
have.
done it.
Exactly.
You already did.
Yeah. What you really want is a piratical ninja vampire.
Okay.
Did anyone ever ask for that, Pineleaf? I think you just like brought that up. I don't think so. No, I don't think that would be a good thing. They'd just be a failure at all three. They couldn't go out in the sun. They'd have to like smoke all the time, so they'd have terrible lungs, and they'd have an uncanny desire for blood. Like it's just like three weaknesses. Like they're gonna lose. It's just there's no good thing.
The next question is from Krell, and he asks, "When's the last time you think PvP was balanced?"
Riders of Rohan.
Early Rise of Rohan.
Early Riders of Rohan was the last time PvP was balanced, almost unquestioned. And that's why we started Fellowship of the Creeps. We started it Riders of Rohan week because there were so many rumors about, in the beta PvP's balanced, and it actually was. And it's so good to see that it was actually balanced. And I really, really hope that they will get back to that because it's long overdue. We've had, and I'll give them the class revamps did totally set off everything, but the fact that it was already unbalanced long before the class revamps, and that made it so much more unbalanced, I was done. The fact that a Guardian could out DPS an entire raid and kill an entire raid single-handedly is ridiculous. I understand being able to take the damage of an entire raid, but actually being able to wipe out an entire raid with DPS is ridiculous.
That actually happened.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about Fellowship of the Creeps because that was only a fellowship.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was update 10 that really.
Update 10 set everything on fire in Lotro PvP, basically.
And I almost don't want to ask this question, but what do you think of the Hobbit movies?
Well, let's start with the first one. The first one
I'd rather you start with the second, to be honest.
As you can see behind me, I'm a big fan of the first one. There's a nice little poster there, Unexpected Journey. I really like the first one. It's great. There, aside from the note taker of the Goblin King, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion. Like utterly wrong and just completely against Tolkien in the first Hobbit film. And I really, really enjoyed it. It's better, in my opinion, than the first or second Lord of the Rings films. I think that it's much more interesting, but I think if you're not a fan of Lord of the Rings, then maybe not. But or The Hobbit, then maybe not. But for the Lord fans, they did so much more fan service in the first film than they had done in all of Lord of the Rings, I think, and I loved it. It was amazing. Then we get to the second film. The second film had so many issues. It is not even worth talking about almost. It's ridiculous. First of all, Legolas should be in the film. I'll get that out of the way. Legolas should be in the film. He should be in the film quite a bit because he is the prince of the Elf King of Mirkwood. He needs to be in the film. Period. Anyone who says, "Oh, I can't believe Legolas is here," you're wrong. He's supposed to be there. Radagast didn't bother me in either film, really, because there's only 4 words, literally 4 words, that describe Radagast in all of Tolkien. Don't have any problem with Radagast. I don't have any problem with Tariel because I knew about it way enough ahead of time that I expected that was the thing I was going to have an issue with the film. But when you have Thorin, and spoiler alert, when you have Thorin riding on a wooden wheelbarrow through molten lava,
It was gold.
gold that might as well be
Molten
lava.
gold.
There's so much wrong that it's not even worth talking about. It's the stupidest thing that they could have done, and I think it dispelled every single person's disbelief. Also, well, yes, Smaug was enamored with the statue. I don't know why he could just like shake it off and fly off. That made that entire 15-minute sequence completely pointless, basically. And it was completely added and seemed like just filler for having another film. Also, some of the CGI, which I didn't see it in 3D, so it could have looked a lot better there, but in 2D, you could tell that CGI of the molten gold was supposed to be 3D. And you know what it looks like when you have a 3D film and you're not watching it in 3D. And that's actually one of the biggest issues that I have with the second Hobbit film, is that there's several places where you can tell in the 2D version, at least in the theater, they might have fixed it by DVD release, but in the theater it looked terrible in some of the scenes. Let's see, the fight in Lake Town was pretty bad, and the fact that my biggest issue with the whole film was the fact that the combat didn't have any consequence. If you look through the entire first film, okay, no one was hurt. Not very many people usually get hurt in the first film. Second film, you expect somebody to at least have like a wound, and you like Legolas like gets like a little bit of blood on his like forehead or something, and like that's the big like gashing wound of the film. And yeah, there's the guy that got stabbed by the thing, but still the
What
way
about
that the
arrow to the knee.
yeah, that's
He
what
was
I'm
an
talking
arrow to
about.
the
He was an
thigh,
arrow, but anyway,
Technically.
the fact that like they were able to fill like an arrow with like something similar to what Frodo got stabbed with is the way that they describe it in the film is really stupid. Let's see here. There's several other things. Stephen Fry's character, the way that he created that monstrosity. I think he had a good idea, and I am a fan of Stephen Fry and some of the shows that he does, but what were you thinking? Like, really? Draculetta, can you back me up on this? Because, like, what was Stephen Fry thinking in that scene?
Wait, just to clarify something, who did Stephen Fry play?
He's the master of Lake Town, I believe, is what the title is. Like,
Yeah,
what
he was.
what was
Right.
what was going on there? I don't know. Drac, what do you think?
I've watched the movie like I think 3 times now, and I've yet to figure it out.
It
Every time he comes on the screen, I just say, "Why?
It makes
Why?
no sense. I
Why?"
mean, they have a nice dynamic of politics and things like that in Lake Town, I'll give them that. But it makes no sense why his character is the way his character is. And I really did not like that at all. Um, it felt like they put all the good, like, fan service moments that were from the book in the first film. I can't think off the top of my head of any, like, fan service moment from the books aside from some of Smog's dialogue. Which is another thing, is when you fight Smog for that long period of time and not a single dwarf gets injured, all of a sudden and yes, Sauron's going to be the big villain in film 3, but in film 2, the dragon is the big villain. And the fact that he could not injure any dwarf over the course of like 20 minutes of on-screen time, not to mention the time that he spent with Bilbo and didn't injure him at all, is ridiculous. Somebody should have got singed or had their cloak on fire and like are still fine or something. The fact that Smog could not inflict any damage on any part of them or their clothing is ridiculous.
Especially considering that Smog wiped out an entire dwarven population.
Exactly, and that is my largest problem with this. My second largest problem with the film is the fact that the dragon has been way overused, which was something I was afraid of, that they were going to overuse their main villain, and they did it, and it is not going to be as interesting when he dies now, because there was no real threat. Anyone can kill Smog, really. You just have to shoot him in that one little place on his under part, and you're good.
Well, but he's probably going to blow up Lake Town before he dies, right?
We hope that somebody gets injured by a dragon who is more powerful than a Balrog, let me remind you, in the mythos of Tolkien.
So, just as a final follow-up question, do you intend to watch the third one?
Yes. And I'm hoping that just like the first one was completely without flaw, I hope that the third one at least is a combination of the two, because I can't think of, there's very, very few moments that I can think of in the second film. For example, another one that I have issue with is when did the dwarves start getting crude humor with elves, and that's how it leads to romantic relationships. That line was completely misplaced and should not be in anything related to Tolkien. And Tolkien, in my opinion, I think would completely disapprove of that. And it's just, I don't know what Jackson was thinking with that line. I don't have any problem with their relationship, I just have a problem with how they're communicating with each other. It's stupid.
The whole thing is stupid. No.
But anyway, the third film I do have hope for, partly because Sauron is the main villain and they've kept him somewhat concealed, and that works. I don't like how Gandalf is prisoner again. It seems like they basically downgraded Sauron to Saruman, how Saruman is in The Lord of the Rings. And so there's so many issues with the second Hobbit film.
I should probably mention that I haven't seen the second one, but I tend to find with trilogies that the middle one is usually the hardest to pull off.
And
Because it has to be a pillar between two of them.
And
well, what about
things need
The
to get
Empire Strikes Back?
In The Empire Strikes Back
That one-
is the best example. Every single trilogy where the second act gets a lot darker, it works. In this film, there was no character development that I can think of. Aside from we learned about Smaug, but he didn't really change character. Yes, Thorin changed, but he had already been in that mindset in film 1, so he really just returned to how he was in film 1 again. He hasn't gone to the next step, which will happen in film 3. And so there hasn't been any character development that I can think of. Think through the entire film. Name me one point where there's character development. There was the love relationship, but I don't consider that character development.
Oh, okay. It might be considered character development because Tariel does develop a compassion for all the dwarves, not just kids.
That's true.
So there's that.
But she's not in the core of the story. The core characters, not one of them had character development in this film, and that's an issue, I think.
They get in the books, they don't really develop at all.
Bilbo does. Look at Bilbo's travel. And when
Bilbo and Thorin are the only ones who do.
The other issue I had is that arguably Bilbo's biggest moment and biggest change moment is when he's fighting the spiders. And in this film, because the dwarves would
There's,
find
like-
them as well. First of all, there were only like 6 spiders instead of the hundreds that Bilbo. And there's an iconic moment in the book where there's hundreds of spiders headed towards the dwarves, and Bilbo put on his ring, and he's almost on his way away from the spiders, and he takes off the ring, yells at all the spiders, and tells them to follow him over there, and he leads all of the 200 some odd spiders away from the dwarves, and that is one of the most impactful moments in all of The Hobbit, and the fact that it was in this film there were like 6 spiders, and they weren't even all fighting Bilbo, and Bilbo didn't have that heroic moment, annoyed me to no end with this film.
He
Anyway,
did rant about it for a month.
I did.
Yeah, clearly he's over it.
And funny part, I was backing up in the parking lot, and there's when when you switch gears from reverse to drive, usually it makes like a little noise or something.
Don't bring this
Sprydra
up.
thought that I
Thank
rear-ended
you.
a car because I was so angry that I was backing up and hit a car, and
I didn't think you hit
she
a
thought that
car.
I
It
was
noise, it
that.
freaked me out.
She thought that I was that upset, but I was not. So there you go.
Uh-huh.
I was pretty upset
Not
though.
drive angry.
Okay, so it's probably about time we moved on to the next question.
It probably is.
This one's from the Urakanter again, and he
Okay.
asks, what were your thoughts on how the epic book 13 ended in Helm's Deep?
I think everyone's completed book 13, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go around the
Spoiler.
corner and give our favorite moment. And yeah, spoiler alert, obviously. Let's see here.
Didn't we give our favorite moment in Book 13 back during the review episode?
We did, but Sprider's here. My favorite moment is definitely the after the battle. That's just amazing. I love it. And he is limiting it to just book 13. So that's
Okay.
something. Definitely after the battle. That is amazing. I love how Helm's Deep is amazing after the battle. It's completely transformed, and the fact that they have the different stages of it. Yes, there's epic battles in it, which is a great attraction, but man, the landscape design is just amazing. So anyway, Atharos, what do you think?
Yeah, the landscape itself at the final part is very well done. The thing I noticed when I was going through this, just the sheer amount of fallen Rohirrim that are laid out on mats around the entire keep. Like,
Yeah.
I was running around the hill, pretty much every interior there is filled with them. The actual main hall we go to where the king usually goes.
Yeah.
They're just everywhere. And I'm trying to count, it was over like 300 laid out around there. It's
Which is
incredible.
crazy.
Just that kind of detail and other little things like that in the final
Yeah.
phase is just very good.
Yeah, it is really good. Pineleaf.
Well, going against and defeating a certain person who has been really annoying to us in earlier books when we were in
Yes.
Dunland.
Yes.
The way it plays out is hilarious, yes. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Just go do it.
All right, and Sprider.
That was gonna be mine, and I also
It still
love the
can be.
aftermath. Just the because it's in the books. Also, the banter between Legolas and Gimli is hilarious. If
Yeah.
you stop and listen to it, and the dynamic between Theoden and Aragorn. Oh, I love it.
Yes, yeah, that's cool. All right, Drac.
Yeah, mine is the same as Pineleaf and Spiders. And
All right.
the reason I like it the most is who actually ends up take care of the problem.
Yes.
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
Yep.
All right.
Good sense. All right, this next one is from Krell, and this is talking about the player council again, and it's a different aspect of it. Is how would you like to change the transparency aspect in the like the next round of player council members?
How do I like to change the transparency? Opening it up, allowing them to talk about making certain topics that are less controversial be allowed to be talked about openly. and then, but the thing is, then that can lead to talks about everything, and that's what I would hope. At the same time, I don't want the community to be as mad at the player council as they are at, say, Sapience or someone like that. Because that's an issue that people have is with Sapient. Like if you look, because he's the public face of the community, he's the community manager, and because of that, that causes so much hatred and things like that to go straight to Sapients. And I think that if the player council opened up, that would be going to the player council, which would cause a lot of them to be just thinking about things and bringing things up in a way that would not upset the community, and that would be, they need to have the NDA there just so that they can focus on what they need to focus on and try to do well. And so hopefully, they'll take suggestions from the community and things like that. And one thing I would like is allow them to, like, say, get questions pre-approved and then let them go out into the community and ask those questions. I think that would be cool. So yeah, I mean, it's tough on how to open it up while still allowing them to, because they aren't being paid as far as I know for it. So it's important to, not make it be a job and allow them to still be providing valuable feedback. Any other thoughts by anybody on that one?
Nope, pretty much the same for me, really.
All right, next one.
Okay, in your opinion, was the new class reveal too early? Or wasn't ready because they didn't have enough details they could give?
I think just the announcement of a new class. I mean, our traffic has been through the roof after the announcement of a new class. It's been ridiculous. We had more traffic on the announcement of the new class than we did on launch day of Helm's Deep, which is more traffic than any other day in Helm's Deep. So we had more traffic about the new class than we did about anything else that's happened since Lotra Players has come around. So this has led to a lot of speculation in the community and led to a lot of people talking. And when people are talking, and in this fashion, not in the negative fashion, but when people are talking in this fashion, that leads to increased involvement in the community and increased amount of players coming back to Lotro because, oh, there's a new class, that's exciting, that hasn't happened since Moria. And I think that this allows for the community discussion to form and allows for community involvement to increase. And I hope that they will give more details when they have them. But if the class doesn't come in 2014, then yeah, they definitely made way too early of an announcement. Outside of that, I think that their announcement is timed well, and I'm sure they have a plan.
Mm-hmm. Well, where am I? Okay, yeah, here we go. By the way, Zinger says one could say Toriel got lost in Keely's eyes. I'm guessing that's a reference to something.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into that.
She played Kate in Lost.
Yep.
Oh, I never watched it.
In the show Lost, so
yeah,
she got lost, and yeah.
Yeah.
Really, Zinger? Really?
Anyway,
I would like to real quick mention that I would like to really quick mention that if you have any questions about like YouTube or how to suggestions or things like that, feel free to ask them. Hopefully I'll be able to provide some answers. So anyway, next question.
Yeah. There don't seem to be any from the chat at the moment, so I will think of one.
Sprydred, you have a crazy question.
Hold on a moment.
Actually, I have a good one now.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. I'll
I think it's a good one anyway. What would you say your favorite or least favorite moments were from the original Lord of the Rings films? Like the
favorite and least favorite?
Yeah.
Okay, least favorite, Elves, Helm's Deep. Favorite would be Ooh, that's tough. Breaking of the Gandalf's staff was pretty amazingly visualized. And I'd say Gandalf's depiction in the films in general is pretty well done. And also, obviously, the landscapes as well. Specific moment would be... oh, goodness. Probably Sam in the films, doing Sam things. And
Pretty much
being in...
everything he does, really.
Pretty much, yeah. Sam is just an awesome character.
Very well cast, in my opinion.
My least favorite moment is the fact that they took out Tom Bombadil. I'll put it that way.
I think it was a
Oh,
good move for the sake of the
It
movie.
was, for considering the knowledge that they had of what the community was at the time, and the fact that they might not even be able to make the films. Imagine having Tom Bombadil in there. He would have been the Radagast of the film, in my opinion. And that is not something that I think we would want. So,
All right.
No, is
Yeah. Out of curiosity,
sorry, Piney.
go ahead, Pineleaf.
did you ever see the old '70s versions of the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit?
Well,
The
Pineleaf,
Ralph
I'm
Bass-
glad you asked that question. You want to know why I'm glad you asked that question? Because right here, I have a signed edition by Peter Beagle of the Lord of the Rings animated version that you just spoke of. And not only do I have that signed, I have the disc on the inside also signed, which it's a lot harder to see that it's signed, but see, it's signed
Please
there.
tell me it's on the right side of the disc.
It is on the side of the disc that will not mess up the film. So thank you, Pineleaf, for asking that question. I've seen the whole Hobbit through. I've seen a lot of the Lord of the Rings. I haven't watched it all. But they did lose funding, and so that caused some issues with it. But it is a good film, in my opinion.
Here's a question then. Have you watched the Russian Hobbit?
No.
It's bad. It's really bad. Like it's
Did the,
meant to be.
did the hobbits take you to Isengard? Because it's Soviet Russia.
In Soviet Russia, hobbits take you to
No,
Isengard.
I died on
Well
the way.
played, Spider. Well played.
That's- worst version of The Hobbit I remember ever seeing was a high school play production of The Hobbit, and I was saying,
Ooh.
okay, I hope this is the worst play I've ever seen in a high school in my life.
Well, that's fair enough because they're not paid to be good.
Well, yes, but I've been to. I guess because the local high schools to where I live tend to have good theater productions, and I went to a high school that had a good drama department, so I would have. So when I went to a school outside of my immediate area, I thought, well, I wasn't expecting it to be so bad. Just
Finally,
say
can
that.
you give us a little Shakespeare then?
A little Shakespeare?
Uh
Never said he was in the drama department.
huh. He was nearby it. It festered, you know.
All right.
Apparently, he
What
lives in
Shakespeare?
Shakespeareville.
We few, we happy few, we band of brothers.
Awesome. Pure awesome just came from the lips of Pineleaf now.
That's
Okay.
because I didn't write it.
Well, you don't write any of the poems you read, so there you go.
We have two more questions from the chat.
All right.
One is from Zinger, and he asks, are there any questions that you hoped people would ask this session? If so, answer it. Very shrewd.
That is a very interesting question. One of the ones was, what is behind me? Behind me, I have an unopened Lord of the Rings Pez dispenser collection that is supposed to be limited to 250,000, which is not very many. I also have Corey Olsen's Exploring the Hobbit behind me, which it's actually at Mythmoot. I was able to, if I can find it, somewhere in here. That'd be funny if it wasn't. Alright, it says and then my real name. Thanks for listening, and Godspeed, Corey Olsen. So that's awesome because that's like his little tagline that he ends all his podcasts with. And so that is behind me. Also, Silmarillion, can't live without it. If you don't have one, go buy one. It's your nerd Bible. Get one. Hobbit, Lord of the Rings films. I don't know why I have this, but this is very dusty, and it is the 3D glasses case for the Hobbit film that was good. Also, a Gandalf bookmark from Mythmoot. No idea why. A Lord of the Rings iPhone case that broke, but it's there. Hobbit tickets, Superman Returns tickets, which was a terrible film. Also, the menu for Mythmoot, which I will now read. Maggot soup was one of the items there. And this is because at the end of March in 1958, Tolkien visited Holland at the invitation of the Rotterdam booksellers Vuhere in Dietrich. I can't read German, sorry, finally. He attended a Hobbit dinner at which he gave a speech. One item on the menu was maggot soup, an intended allusion to Farmer Maggot's mushrooms in The Lord of the Rings. Tolkien said that his host was a little upset about the hilarity caused by maggot soup being on the menu. His host went on to say that he would not have chosen that name if he had known all the names of the English vermins. So apparently there was a little bit of hysteria there about that going on, and so I can only imagine. Also, there were Bilbo's seed cakes, Gandalf's roast chicken, Bomber's pork pies, and salad. I don't know why there was a Bomber salad, but that's hilarious. Ori's I don't like green vegetables. The Gaffer's roasted potatoes. Biffer's raspberry tart, which was pretty good. Fresh brewed coffee, which isn't anything, and gourmet tea. Yeah, so that was what happened at that. Oh, and also, and these are all used, so don't even ask if you can get one, because they're all used. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 turbine point cards. And some of these
Did you take
are
those out of the-
bigger ones. I know this has
Did you
always
take those
been
out
on
of
the
the
top of
closet?
there. Nope.
We have like 50 more in our closet.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. And all the codes are scratched off on the back, which I won't show.
Sorry.
Better hope the police don't find those.
The police.
I don't think they take kindly to addictions.
Okay. So yeah,
Any
that's
other
what's
questions?
behind me. Let's see, what other questions? Not off the top of my head that I can think of that I would want people to ask. If I think of one, I'll tell you later.
All right. We have another question, but it's not addressed to you.
Oh, well. Who's it addressed to?
I will tell you now.
All right.
It is asked by Krell, and he is asking, what would it take to get Sprider on more often?
You have no idea how good that makes me feel. What would it take? Currently, it would take me to quit the thing that is eating up most of my time.
Which you
and that
are.
would be banned.
Which she
I
is.
am quitting it this
Which
year.
means
so this summer,
that starting this
after
summer,
school ends,
you could see a
I
whole lot more
should-
Sprydra.
I should have more appearances.
Why are you quitting
No
band?
guarantee. As I hate it.
Why can't you quit it now?
I can't quit it now because I don't want to quit it in the middle of the year because that's just rude.
And
I
it would
kinda-
hurt her grade, so.
It would hurt my grade. And I like the people, except all the people. Well, excuse me. Most of the people I like,
like
are
the people.
seniors, and they'll be
Sorry.
leaving.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
So that, yeah. And it's just it takes up too much time. I don't like that aspect. So
Now,
yeah,
will you at least continue with the piano?
of course. And I'm going to. I'm currently in the process of learning drum set.
Here's a question, Sprydra. If enough people
So-
asked, would you be willing to? Well, we might not be able to do that because it'd probably be copyrighted. But if we found a royalty-free song, would you be willing to play it for the populace?
If I could record it and not do it live, yes.
Yeah, you would.
Okay. Maybe.
Okay. Maybe. So start sending
actually
in
have a-
those comments. Just leave them down below if you would like to hear Spryder play the piano.
I have a song that's not in the public domain that I know. Or it is in the public domain because it's so old.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, we will talk about that later. But yeah, just leave a comment down below if you think that you would like to hear that. I know I would. All right.
So listen when I practice.
You wear headphones.
Tell me to take them out.
I will next time. All right. Any other questions, Atharos?
None from the chat, but I can think of one right now.
Okay.
And this would be a dual question, like what would be your favorite location in Middle-earth, or if you could visit one, which would it be?
Favorite location? Well, right now in Lotro, it's Helm's Deep. That place is amazing.
Since you hate the sight of blood, I don't think you should go there after the battle.
I've been there after the battle. There's no. It's teen-rated game. There's limited blood.
There's lots of corpses that go squish.
They do, and it's hilarious, and terrible. But let's see here. Not the Old Forest after Lotro's depiction of it. Oh goodness. If I felt confident and had enough training to be like a hero guy, I'd say going into Mirkwood, and the Hobbit side of Mirkwood. I think that'd be cool. Also, Minas Tirith. How can you not want to see Minas Tirith? And then obviously the Shire is just amazingly peaceful. So.
Okay. We do have a follow-up question by Krax. He suggests play a musical segment.
Just a musical segment.
So
Yeah.
he just suggests player music segments.
Oh no, Zinger, I'm not. No Flight of the Bumblebee. I refuse. That one I blatantly refuse.
But.
But no.
You
No.
can play the Bilbo Baggins song, and then Andang can sing it.
No.
I like that.
You gave them ideas, Atharos. This is not good.
I was going to mention it at some point.
I know. I
gave them the
worried.
lyrics.
I forgot about it. I felt comfortable, and then now I'm not. So yeah, that's good. What else? Let's see here. Spryder, do you have any crazy questions now that you've thought for a while?
Oh, I was supposed to be thinking of those.
You were. You were.
I was.
You failed.
I was.
Clearly.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? I'll take this time to thank everybody, and then we'll go to more questions after that. So thank you so much, everyone. When I started this channel, I did not expect anywhere near this kind of traffic, this kind of support, this kind of community. I have some people that leave a comment on every single video I make, or at least every couple videos, and getting a comment from them even just once a week from some people is absolutely amazing. That they're tuning in once a week and writing into me. It's amazing that they're using their time, picking to spend their free time to watch content that I was producing, or that people on this call helped me produce. It's absolutely amazing, and I'd like to thank everyone so much for allowing me the opportunity to have this show, Ask Andang Anything 200,000 sub special, 200,000 view special, because I could not have done it without you. It's your views that allowed this to happen, and your watching of my content, and your feedback that has allowed me to get better. I do read through every single comment that goes up onto my YouTube channel. Every single one, because I get an email about it, and I read through them. And thank you guys so much for providing me with great moments. One of my favorite comments ever was when someone said that they laughed so hard that they finally lost one of their baby teeth.
That's
That was my favorite comment out of everything, probably. It was hilarious. That literally made my entire week because of that comment. It was the funniest thing ever.
not many people can claim that.
No, not many people are at the right age where losing teeth is a good thing. So yeah, that was awesome. All right, do we have any more questions about Source Friday or anybody?
I have one now. What would be your future plans for YouTube, site, anything like that in terms of community involvement?
Future plans. Like I said, those playthroughs are a big thing. I am, and I've said this several times, but I am working on highlights video. It's still in place. I have 4 videos picked out so far, not very many. But I am planning on doing highlight videos. I'm almost to the Wildermore series, which I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of highlights from that. Because I am watching through from the beginning. So I am planning to do highlight videos, like 2 minutes or so, going through stuff. Also, the continued playthroughs, and, our shows. Each week we're, getting better and better, I think. Just getting used to everyone's style and getting more inside jokes and things like that. And also the guests that we have on that bring extra stuff to it. We're having Acacia on this week on the news. It's going to be amazing, I think. I'm super excited about that. Just continuing to do a lot of the same stuff and keep that content coming. Now that we're at a place right now where I think we're happy with stuff. We just started Adventures. It's almost to its 10th episode. I'm really excited to see where that show goes as we continue to get to higher levels and continue to do more and more of that. So, yeah.
So we have Spider playing Meadow Breeze then, right?
What? I don't know this song.
Pine will send you the music. Don't worry.
Sure, he does.
He'll just hum it to you, and it'll all be good. But
I'm not that kind of musician.
That'd be Acacia who would probably be the better person to send it.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
We have a question from the chat,
All
and
right.
it's Krell asking if we think Turbine should be doing more player-wide routine feedback, like polls or surveys, things like that.
Yes. Unquestionably, yes. Regardless of what it is, what the result is, I think it's unquestionably yes. That being said, if it's obvious that people are coming in that are not Lotro fans and are from other MMOs that are just trying to mess up Lotro, which does happen with other MMOs that do polls, I think that could really mess stuff up. But I think in general, community involvement, data, resources, always a good idea, and you can't do enough of it.
Oh, here's a good question, actually. If you could produce one thing for the community without it taking the amount of time it normally would, you can just do it instantly, what would it be and why? It's for the community, I mean, not the game.
Right. It'd definitely be our drama series. And moreover, an animated drama series would be absolutely amazing. If I could find a way where there was an animator willing to animate the stories that we were doing, and if I could get the writer that is currently too busy to do stuff, but he was interested in doing it a while ago, if I could get him to be involved because he's such an amazing writer, which I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want people to pester him. If that could happen, that would be amazing. I would love to do that kind of a thing. Because essentially it'd be like what I'm doing in my videos, but with our own material and making fun of things in Lotro and doing parodies and things like that. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Someone could bring my gloominess to life.
If Lillicate was animating, you'd just be Eeyore and going through Middle Earth.
Yes, I've been compared to Eeyore.
Thank you, Lillicate.
Thank you so much.
Continuing the gloominess.
Actually, we're on that subject. Not that subject, but the different one. If you could produce something for the game without taking the amount of resources it normally would, what would it be?
Hmm. Well, the like instant gratification and like thing that is just not in Lotro at all that I would want is PvP battle type things where you could have skirmishes or something like that, similar to not really how SWTOR does it, but kind of how SWTOR does it, but actually working. I think could be a good system where you have a PvP that's a very simple concept, but is a lot of fun. A lot of times PvP systems get so complex that they just lose their focus. And I think that's part of what happened in Helm's Deep is the thing was so complex that they forgot to make it fun. And that is the entire point of the game, is to focus on having a fun factor. And that's definitely something I would try to do, would be to bring that. And I would be making PvP videos all the time if that were in the game. And honestly, actually at one point, and this is just a really stupid dream, but I had a dream to win a ton of money in like a lottery or something, so that I could like go to Turbine and say, hey, I will pay people just to make a good PvP system in Lotro. So,
Okay.
there you go.
Roundabout random question. What would be your least favorite NPC you've seen in Lotro?
The cow.
Or as well as least
cow.
favorite character in the Tolkien lore as a whole?
Ooh, least favorite character in the Tolkien lore as a whole. By as a whole, do you mean Tolkien's lore or like all the extra adaptations and things like that?
Tolkien's lore specifically.
Okay. Well, the cow is definitely in Lotro, the worst NPC ever. Followed
Don't
very
think Tolkien
closely.
mentioned that.
Followed very closely by Lalia.
And then the sow
And
and
then-
the fire.
And then Sarah Oakheart.
I didn't think the sound was that bad.
Pengale.
Oh goodness, Sarah Oakheart.
I remember it being very annoying, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that would be the NPC stuff. In Tolkien's lore, that's a lot harder. That's a lot harder. Because I mean, even like the Eagles are cool. Gwahir the Windlord. I mean, come on, that's they got awesome stuff all over the place. Like I can't think of really. I don't know. Can you think of a character that you don't like in Tolkien?
Well, I would like to punch Bill Fernie in the face, but that's,
Yeah, that's true. Some of the hobbits can be a little, yeah. But
you like Sandyman.
I'd actually.
But at the same time, I do like the good villains. Like Morgoth is a great villain, as far as villains
Sackville
go.
Baggins. Lobelia. Ugh.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd say I didn't really like the book Aragorn much. He seemed
Really?
kind of pompous and arrogant to me.
Well, that's because he was.
Yeah. Well, that answers that then, doesn't it?
Which is kind of ironic, considering that the movie Aragorn is all like, I wouldn't want to be a failure, and like all this stuff. It's like, no, you're not like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's supposed to be like that. Like, he is confident about his right to rule and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I always remember that one scene in the book where they go to Edoras and, like, they're meant to give their weapons or put their weapons away, because it's that king's fault, not his. And he's, like, really reluctant to do it. Somehow, I don't think he would be, like, he would let people carry theirs in if they were going into his hall. Is from my point. He seems a bit slightly hypocritical.
Yes, but he is the higher king, and at the time wasn't the king in like really bad shape.
Well, yes, but still.
I mean, I'd agree
just
with you
didn't
if the
work.
king wasn't in really bad shape.
It was. I don't think that was the reason.
It probably
It was
wasn't,
just
but
his
still,
sword.
that's at least a justification for me anyway.
Yeah, I just didn't like
Hey.
the attitude.
Well, it's how he goes around every place body he talks to. He says, "Yeah, well, this is the sword that was broken." That was...
Hey Frodo, do you want to see the sword that was broken again? I got it right over here. It's really cool. Hey Boromir, have you seen the sword that was broken? Yes, Aragorn, you've shown it to us 10 times just today. But it's cool, look at the sword, it's broken, and I'm gonna be king, and it's gonna be great, and all of it. Aragorn.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Yep. Any more questions from the chat?
Yes. You want me to read it?
You said
Well,
yes.
since you said yes.
I did. Sorry. If you've ever had a Lotro dream that you remembered after waking up, what was it?
Oh goodness. I have notes around here somewhere. One
Copy
moment,
plenty.
please. Go ahead and ask the next question while I look this up.
There
Or if
isn't a
there
next
is one.
question.
Well,
So I'll
think
just
of
say
one.
that I haven't had any dreams of Lotro. I have had nightmares.
Really?
Yeah, and they're usually related to escort quests.
Whoa, big surprise.
That is the best thing I've ever heard.
Oak hearts and lalias and cows and pengales everywhere. And they all want me to escort them to Mordor. They make sure to run into Isengard and go into Moria for no reason. It's very irritating. Give me
Oh,
urge to
goodness.
jump into Mount Doom and see if they follow me.
What about the rest of you guys? Do you dream about Lotro at all?
No.
You don't?
No, I really don't.
What about Lord of the Rings at all? Have you ever had a Lord of the Rings dream?
I don't really. I think I sleep so deeply enough that I don't remember
You do
my
sleep
dreams.
pretty deep. You don't get waken up very easily.
How
That is
nice.
true. That is true. Let's see here.
Well, actually, that's something we should have asked earlier. What about just general films you've liked recently and just of all time kind of thing? Like you talked about TV shows and games.
Right, Bond films are great. Just about all of them. Really, the action genre in general, I love. All those kinds of movies. Older movies as well. Casablanca is a great movie. If you haven't seen it before, go watch it now. There's so many references in pop culture to it that you don't even realize. It's the first old movie that feels like a modern, that's written in a way like a modern movie, I would say, and edited in such a way that's like a modern movie, but it's still in black and white, and it's a fantastic film. I highly, highly recommend it. Okay, I remember I have written down here one of my dreams. I had a dream about Lothlorien Border Patrol as like a cops TV show. It was the craziest dream ever. There was limbus trafficking, like drugs. It was hilarious. It was
Limbus
amazing.
trafficking.
And you needed rep if you killed any kind of animal for food at any point in your entire life. The elves just somehow knew because they were like these police guys. And I remember vividly a turbine employee saying, like arguing and saying like, no, you don't need the blindfold anymore. And like how they turned like the rep off. Yeah, I don't know. It's a dream, right? So anyway, I have a part of that dream was like the turbine employee arguing with like a character hobbit to take off the blindfold because he was telling him he didn't need it, but he knew that he'd get caught. I don't know. So that's a thing.
Oh, thanks, Zinger. He said, "Oh, Etheros is here. I haven't heard him in like 5 seconds." That makes me feel better about myself. Not all self-conscious.
That's awesome.
Actually, we do have a question. It's about food,
Okay.
particularly cheese, but also general stuff. Preferences. Go.
Food preferences?
Mhm.
Okay, let me put my notes away. Someone else, food preferences, then I'll get to mine.
Crumpets.
Favorite cheese. Ooh, crumpets are. I love bread. Not
You
like
do love bread.
Wonder Bread.
It's kind of creepy.
Here's a loaf
Or
of bread. Go eat it.
Sliced bread, just good, awesome bakery style bread.
You do love your bread.
I do.
It's kind of scary. I'm very worried at night.
Well, it's
Just
either
see
this.
entire
I could
loaves
be.
disappearing.
There would be entire. I mean, if our house was made out of bread, it would not be standing in the morning. It would just be gone because Spider would have consumed it all.
You make me sound fat.
Or like
But no,
hid it all in your closet for hoarding. Like the bread is like your. Okay, so I'm
Precious.
exaggerating a little bit here, but she does like bread.
if it makes you feel any better, I could be obsessed over chocolate or things that are horrible for you, but no, I like bread.
It is good. It's good to like bread and not like Limbus in the elf trafficking show.
It's like bootlegging and appropriation.
Pretty much. That is literally the dream I had. It was weird. Anyway, there you go. I was
What is your
also
favorite?
thinking about doing that. Favorite food, lasagna. And Stridra knows
Yeah.
this. I have a weird love of lasagna, and no two lasagnas are made the same. I'm convinced. Even Stouffer's like microwave lasagna, it's different every time. And I love lasagna. I have a deep, deep love for lasagna. I will never object against spaghetti or pot roast or anything home cooked, pretty much, aside from cheesy potatoes. Hate cheesy potatoes.
I love cheesy potatoes.
And like asparagus and the typical stuff that people don't like.
Oh yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that.
Apparently, lasagnas are like snowflakes.
They are better than snowflakes because they're more filling.
Because they're edible.
And they're made with love. Name one lasagna you've had that's been made with hatred. I can't think of any. I can
By
think
the
of
angry
s-
chefs in the
I
back
can-
of an Italian restaurant.
I can think of several angry asparagus makers though, because that's all that asparagus is made with. It's just anger and hate. It's really like The Ring. The like asparagus makers could make a fantastic One Ring if you thought about it for a second.
Lord of the asparagus.
Lord of the Asparagus. The VeggieTales actually did a pretty funny parody of Lord of the Rings. I recommend that film to everyone.
It's the Lord of the Bean.
It's Lord of the Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord of the Bean.
Oh, if you haven't, I would also try and check out the D&D version of Lord of the Rings. They use the movies as like captions and stuff, and they play it out like a D&D session. It's very funny.
That sounds awesome. Total side note, I did see there was a Frozen parody where they had World of Warcraft. They had the Lich King, and it is perfect. It is awesome. Go watch that song if you haven't yet. It's just amazing. Frozen Lich King. It's just Frozen song Lich King. It's awesome. All right. Any other questions?
There's
That was.
do you hate Mondays?
Do I hate Mondays? For the most part, yes, I do. And this has become especially true recently. When the last semester and this semester, I've had 8:30 Spanish every single morning, and in college, having a 5-hour Spanish class is not fun. Absolutely not fun. And so I have come to hate every morning in that first hour. It is just terrible, and I do not like it at all. It is terrible. So Mondays are
Wow.
bad.
Terrible?
Terrible. El gato en mi casa es en fuego.
Now I feel uncultured.
You should.
No tenemos un gato.
I can't even speak my own language.
Just say your own language is English and you're good.
Yeah, I could. I also missed a question, by the way. It's from Krell. He asks, do any of you feel you have a hoarding problem when it comes to in-game stuff?
I don't. I don't craft, and so that causes me to get rid of a lot of stuff. For me personally, I sell everything but like one bag, maybe two. Well, depending on how many allies I could have, it's up to 3. But very rarely, I think only once, I've had 4 bags that have been like I can't sell anything in them. And that's just because I didn't clear out like all the old potions and things like that I didn't realize that I was saving. But in general, I don't have a hoarding problem in games. I have a problem of looting everything to go sell it, even though I have like 100 gold in my inventory. I don't know why, but I do really enjoy looting stuff and then selling it to vendors to get that gold. What about the rest of you?
I tend to only hoard cosmetic or items that are used for cosmetics, like armor pieces from Rise of Isengard, especially. Those were some very nice cosmetics. That's actually about half of my inventory. The rest is LI stuff.
Okay. Spider, do you hoard a lot?
No, the only thing I have to hoard, if anything, would be consumables because they're everywhere. And so I think on my minstrel I have 5.5 bags filled with LIs and consumables. I need to get rid of some.
Yes, you do.
I never use them. It's kind of like that situation where, like in a single player game, you always think, oh, what if there's a really tough boss after this one? So you end up having a full stack of things that you never ever use the entire game. Because you always think there'll be something harder that will require it. So you don't want to waste them.
Yeah.
Well, I get them all from Hobbit presents. So I think I have at least 40 Daleman crams because I just got them out of loot boxes and things.
Not the tastiest meal, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, Zing is unfollowed. Because you said you said you don't craft. Actually, he says unfollows, unfriends, unlistens, underwear.
Please keep your underwear on. I don't want to know what's going on there. Unless you have Andang underwear, but anyway.
There's such a thing.
There should be.
Okay.
Just, a little comfort. Anyway, I think that crafting is good in some games. In Lotro, I can't. In partly because I think that crafting in RuneScape spoiled me for my entire MMO career.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that.
I really haven't seen a system that is that addicting because they had a level system for every single crafting thing, and it worked just like your normal levels. I think that's probably the biggest advantage to it. And also, it didn't feel like work to craft at any point when I was playing anyway. It was always fun to craft because you're always getting new levels, new skills, new things like that throughout the entire process. It was just like leveling your character. And every game since then that I've played, every MMO since then that I've played, has not been able to do that in crafting. And because of that, I just don't care. I'll be honest, because I've been spoiled by a really, really good crafting system in RuneScape, and it just worked for me. It might not work for you, but RuneScape crafting is the thing that my favorite crafting system, and I return to RuneScape just to craft sometimes. So there you go.
There was another question. I can't remember what it is. Here it is. Ali Rashid asks, who is your favorite music artist?
Not that big on music. So I'll just say Chance Thomas for sake of argument.
I knew you were going to say that.
And this is partially because I've actually chatted with him and messaged him and things like that. So that creates a little bit of a bias there. But yeah, Chance Thomas.
Yeah. Would you describe yourself as a completionist?
Yes. Yes, I would. Sprider, what do you think on that one?
You? Yes. Me? Depends.
Yeah, I do try to finish everything, unless I just am really, really hating it. I do try to finish it, but I at least try to... Even the things that I really hate, I try to get to like a certain point, where I can say, alright, at least I got to here with it, and then I quit. And so in general, yeah, I'm a completionist. When it comes to like deeding and Lotro, I don't care so much. Deeds and achievements aren't really my cup of tea. But as far as like, I don't know, continuing a hobby or something like that, I stick to it and try really hard. Continuing series, I'm always really annoyed when YouTubers just end a series because, I mean, yeah, you weren't having fun, or you were having more fun with another series or something like that, and you only have so much time. But I have to try to finish every single game I play for the most part. So there's that.
I'm pretty much just a completionist on my first character. everything else is just kind of I do pick and
Oh,
choosing.
well, that's true, yeah. After I've completed something, I don't feel a need to complete it again unless it's fun.
Hmm. Where am I? Okay, here we go. This is actually Drax's question. He asks, "Is Andang Garfield?"
Drac, do you want to expound upon that a little bit?
You love lasagna and you hate Mondays. Therefore, you're Garfield.
I didn't realize that that's where that was leading to. You walked me
Well.
into that one. Yes, I guess. I'm not as lazy, I'd like to think. That's gonna open a whole can of worms. Alright. I'll say yes, Drac. But just for you. So, next question.
Favorite kind of pet or one that you own in general? Anything like
It's
that?
not the tree. I don't know where they got that idea from. Come on, Lotro. What was up with that? That's just
You
ridiculous.
don't have a pet tree? That's weird.
I mean, I have trees in my yard, but I don't consider them pets, and they don't follow me around. No.
Pet rocks. No, pet rocks are where it's at.
Pet rocks are pretty cool, I'll tell you what. Honestly, we don't have any pets in our house. If I had a pet, it'd probably be fish or sharks or something like that. You know, not big sharks, but you know, the tiny little small sharks. Just because they're really cool, and you can feed them meat, and you know, they get rid of the blood, so that's always good. They just, you know, eat it all up.
Okay, I don't know where you get blood from.
Because
There
they
is
smell
absolutely
blood.
nothing wrong with blood.
They smell
I'm just
blood.
saying.
Okay,
Just
Drac.
have
Blood
some
from
blood
blood.
around.
Okay, Drac.
Okay, that's mildly disturbing. Because apparently you have blood lying around that you would give to a shark.
Well, you know what I mean. You like feed them meat or whatever that has like blood with it.
So
Okay.
Andang wants a vampire shark.
All sharks are
Drac can
vampires, I
fix you up
thought.
for that.
Yes, I'm sure it could.
Asbethin asks, when will you stop playing regularly?
When will I stop playing Lotra regularly?
Start.
Start playing regularly.
Mhm.
I mean, I play adventures every week. Really, when content comes out, I just play it until it's done. With Helm's Deep, I played that start to finish over a week. I did that entire 1 in 5 video series in a week. Well, that's not true. I started on the 20th and went until after finals, and then it was a week. So it was technically like a month and then a week. But still, I didn't stretch it out over the entire 3 months or whatever it was that series went on for. Over 3 months, because it was more than 90 episodes. So yeah, I didn't stretch it on that long. So I'm not really that regular of a player, but when I do play, I try to play a lot and really get into it. And part of that's just because of college, as you can probably imagine.
Okay. The next question is from Etheros, and he asks, what server do you play on?
Oh! The question that gets asked every single day on PvMP Andang's YouTube channel.
And despite the fact that you say it 3,000 times.
I literally answer this question once a day on average. I promise you, I've done the math. It's at least once a day. And it's just amazing how many people ask that question. I love the question because it means that people are wanting to play with me, and I think that's awesome. At the same time, if you get any question asked for like 1,000 days in a row, you're eventually going to get tired. Alright, so it hasn't been 1,000, but it's been at least, I've been going for a year and a half, and probably it's been about one on average for a year and a half, asking what server I play on. The most annoying thing is when I've answered what server I play on in that video that they're asking what server I play on. So they could have just scrolled down to the comments and found the answer there. That's the most annoying. But other than that, I'm always happy to answer any questions that anybody has. It's just that what server do I play on comes up an awful lot.
Yep. There's a follow-up on that from Asbethin, and they ask what time you normally on.
Really, the only regular time that I'm on right now is during adventures, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern every single Saturday on Landerville, on staff day, and that's really the only regular time that I'm on. I'll log in when I have time for the epic story. I'll log in when I have time for my Helm's Deep, whatever other playthroughs I'm doing. I really don't log in that much outside of making videos, to be honest. And that's just because I have so much fun making the videos and so much fun doing voice acting and going through the characters that I can't just read normally quest text. It gives me an issue. I have to create a voice and do things like that just because I have fun doing it. And recording it allows me to not just be talking to myself. So that way I'm talking to myself to everyone else. So there you go. Any other questions, Atharos?
None in the chat right now.
All
We
right.
have been going for 2 hours.
Sprydra, have you thought of a question yet?
2.5. Yeah.
Well, no. Atheros, I think, accidentally skipped a question too, which is okay. Let's see. Here's one. This is kind of funny to me. Ali Rashid asks, "Do you have a girlfriend?"
No. So, ladies.
Okay then.
Okay.
So glad I'm your sister.
Okay then.
Means I don't have to deal with him.
But I have had 3, so that's a thing. So there you go. Awkward conversation is awkward.
Oh god, Krell just overloaded us with questions. So,
Okay.
do you think it'll ever be possible for game designers to even come close to players' ability to consume content?
I think without a subscription or something, I think if you made like, I don't know, like when Twilight was obnoxiously popular, you made a Twilight MMO, for example, and you devoted all your money into redevelopment for Twilight. I think you would still, some players, because they're selective with their content, would not have enough. And that's because not everyone likes everything, and especially in an MMO when you're literally building it for, crafting, for kinships, for all these different factors of, combat, story, PvP, all these different factors, and not everyone plays all of them. You can never have enough content because, while you can develop enough content to keep people busy if they play through all your content, I don't think you can develop enough content to keep people busy for what they actually play with.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you had, even if you were devoting all the money back from what you're making on a really, really successful game, still you have a limit of team and numbers and the amount of time in a day. And I think that it's just not possible. But you can get pretty close. I think that if ESO sells half as many copies as, well, if it sells close to the number of copies as Skyrim and keeps half as many subscribing, they could, and they actually devote the money back to the game, that's the key factor, not just pocket it, they could do a lot of content. They have a very aggressive release schedule of what they're planning to do, and assuming that they planned right, they can keep that up for at least 6 months. It's after that 6 months we'll see how well they'll be able to keep it up. I think that is an opportunity. I think that's the closest we will get in the next couple of years. We've gotten close in the past as well with some older MMOs. But honestly, it's very, very hard, and because of how long the development process is, I don't know if it is possible without having multiple teams working on completely different things.
Yeah. Next question is there any content you found yourself actually wanting to replay, like you were talking about that earlier?
I play through a lot of skirmishes. I level.
You've been converted by Pineleaf.
Not exactly. My love for skirmishes did come before I had. That's actually part of the reason why Pineleaf was one of my first guests on my YouTube channel outside. I think it was my first guest outside of Sprydra. We were doing skirmish playthroughs, and those were a lot of fun, and we still have not finished all those Pineleaf, and I'm a completionist. We're gonna get them done someday.
Someday.
Someday. Maybe this week. We'll talk after. So yeah, we still have those to go through. But skirmishes, I could just play till the end of time, partly because there's so many of them. I can't play a single skirmish over and over again too long. But especially on my champion, because of the AoE attacks and the lore master and captain, I think those three classes get the most out of skirmishes. So yeah, I think skirmishes are really built for AoE classes quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Lore Masters are built for pretty much everything, so.
Now they are, yeah. That wasn't always the case when I created one.
Next one is, what are your thoughts on alts? Do you use them at all, or can you just not stand them?
I do play through alts. If I was not making videos, I'd have a lot more. I do enjoy going through and replaying, particularly the story content through Lotro. It's a lot of fun to replay them as an alt, and moreover, I don't think I'll ever create like a second champion or anything like that. But I do like the fact that since there's these different classes, the game actually feels different in Lotro, depending on which class you pick, and I think that adds a lot of replayability and need for alts, or at least to try around a little bit and see if you get stuck on one. I know a lot of people where their alts become their main because they realize that they found a more interesting class.
Mm-hmm. Are there any classes where you absolutely would not do that? You just can't stand them?
Low DPS stuff like the Guardian can be annoying. In a group, that's a lot of fun, so if I had a group to level with me, I'd be doing it, but by myself, I'd say like low DPS classes are hard.
I suppose with the revamps, it's kind of up in the air at this point, though.
Yeah, it really is, but assuming that they get that back under control, you know.
Mm-hmm. God damn it. There's a lot of stuff confusing something else. Ali Rashid asks, what is your favorite movie? I don't think you specified a favorite before.
My absolute favorite. Oh goodness. I will preface this with the fact that I've not seen the Ender's Game movie because that is my favorite book of all time. Is Ender's Game. Probably the third Lord of the Rings movie, followed by the Batman trilogy, the new one, followed by Gettysburg. It's a very wide range of things there, but yeah.
Mm.
And Die Hard's close after that. So, there you go.
Okay, that's it for the chat at the moment. Something, oh, if Piney has something to ask him. Thought he was going to say something.
Apparently not, but finally, do you have a question?
Do I have a question?
Yes.
Yes. When can I get some sleep?
You have no right to talk about sleep, Piney. None of you.
Well, if I stayed up as late as you did, I want to be able to work in the morning.
Finally, if you need to leave, you can.
I can't, though. I'm hosting the call.
No, you can't leave. So.
I'm chained to my computer.
Notice the Andang symbol on that chain? Yeah. It's great.
Actually, a few more questions to know, just as we were talking about that. Okay, so you haven't finished a traditional 9 classes playthrough?
No, no, and the completionist in me hates that. I had a conversation with Brannick where I don't remember what I was talking about, but I was talking about like all the stuff that I needed to do. I was talking about like how I have to get through all 9 classes, and he was talking me down. You don't have to finish all 9 classes. You can, but you don't have to. And I'm kind of set on the fact that I really, really want to at least experience all the classes to say level 30 or 40 or something like that, which I haven't even done that yet. So.
Oh, you don't want to get them all at 95?
That would be the goal if I had a lot more time. And could think of ways to keep me entertained through them all. But I do have that goal, but I don't see it as an achievable goal. I'll put it that way.
Okay. This is from Asbethin, and they're asking, will you start doing a class playthrough?
A class playthrough. Maybe after I get through my lore master.
That's going to be a long
And that's
time.
going to be a long time. That being said, I do plan to get to at least book 7 by the end of this break. So hopefully that'll happen. Which will put me halfway through volume 1. So that's progress. It's only taken like a year. Maybe even longer.
Oh yeah, there was a second part of the question is, will you do PvP with Freeps in a group like we did with Fellowship of the Creeps?
That would be more likely right now than doing creepside stuff. As long as there were now, especially now with the Mithril coin thing, if enough people were okay with spending that kind of currency, then yeah, maybe for adventures sometime we'll do that. Maybe make it every couple. Maybe we'll make it every so often. We'll do it on adventures. But
That's a long way away yet, since we're
Yeah.
not really near the. Well, when the update comes out, we'll be scaled up. So
we will be scaled up, but we'll be terrible. But yeah, we could do like a week every, I don't know, 10 weeks or something. So yeah, we if I had more time in the day, I would be doing all this stuff, but it's just a matter of priority and where you have time and things like that. Brax asked a question in Skype. He said, I told him we're still going if you want to join, and he said still question mark. So I think if everyone in the chat banters for him to come on the show, he might.
actually, there was a question that related to that is, how long did you envision the stream lasting when you first announced it? And for the record, we are at what, 2.5 hours?
2 hour,
It was?
10-minute mark.
Yeah, for the stream. Yeah.
Right. I think I mentioned like what, 2 hours, didn't I? Was what my estimate was.
Well, you didn't say anything out to me.
Okay, well, what my estimate was hopefully we'll get more than half an hour. That was my goal, was to get more than half an hour. And then I was thinking, 2 hours would be just amazing. And if we go beyond that, then that'd be even better. But as long as people keep asking questions and Othello stays awake, I plan to keep going.
Hooray.
So there you go. Just keep asking questions and we'll keep going.
Yeah. As Bethan asks, where are you from?
Me personally, not my characters in Lotro, am from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I'm currently living in that area. So, and then my college is somewhere else, which I'm not going to mention. So, there you go. And contrary to popular belief, Indians in Oklahoma are not, for the most part, are not still in teepees. They are very, very rich people who own the casinos where all of everyone else in the state spends money. So they are doing very well, and you don't need to think of them as I don't know, savages. I guess is probably what the common thought is, of some people at least. There are actually still people in my family that don't believe that, and they're not pulling my leg. They legitimately think that there are that still going on, and it's fairly prevalent, but it's not. So there you go.
Oh yeah, that was just Krill saying I could walk away from the computer until they hang up. I could do that, but the electricity would be costly. So
That is true. It's true.
There's a newcomer ask. I think I can't pronounce that because it is Wizzy asking, do you frequently play PvMP?
Since Rise of Isengard, I was actually right before Rise of Isengard, I was very heavily playing PvP. I actually led a kinship and was actually, a few months into Rise of Isengard, was actually the head leader, the guy that everyone wanted to get into the group of in PvP for a solid 6 months. And for those 6 months, I had full 24-man raids every single time I logged on. and it was a lot of fun. Kinship broke up. Now what do I do? Well, I started actually it was a little bit before that. I started writing for CSTM, and so that kept me going on PvP for a lot longer. Then Riders of Rohan came around. Started the PvP show. Started my YouTube channel to get traffic up to be able to have a fairly good viewing on all the PvP episodes. And went through all that for 65 episodes. That's over a year of constantly doing PvP, both off the show and off the show. And after that, I decided I just needed a break. And so, since we've ended Fellowship of the Creeps, I think I only logged on to my creep to test the balance, and that was not for very long.
Yep.
I'm just not. I've had all my excitement thrown away because of the balance in PvP, and Update 13 looks like it will make a good stride to helping things out, but I don't know if it'll still be enough to get me back into it. So, there you go. I want it to be good, but I can't.
Okay. Apparently this was asked earlier, but I missed it. Sorry about that. It's asking now, what's your major?
In college, I'm assuming, which would be journalism, and that was actually, I was going to be mechanical engineering, then I decided software engineering, and then I transferred over to journalism because I enjoyed writing on CSTM so much, and being a games journalist would be like the main dream someday. And what would be even better than that would be a self-employed games journalist that actually could support himself. So that's the dream.
And it seems like Braxwolf may or may not be here. Also a Braxwood. Either one or both.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, Brax, we already asked everyone what's their favorite moment of any of the videos or content or podcasts that are on my YouTube channel. What is your favorite moment from all that?
Favorite moment that I viewed or was a part of?
Either one. What's your favorite moment out of, or both, if you want to list both?
I'd say probably the first time that I participated in Fellowship of the Creeps, because that was the first time I've ever streamed anything. And it wasn't, I guess, really me streaming, but it was the first time I was involved in any kind of video game streaming where people could actually watch how bad I am. And it was a lot of fun, though, because I just had to follow you guys around and grab a bunch of renown. But I'd say probably from a memorable standpoint, that was the number one moment for me, and I appreciate being invited to participate in that.
Were you gonna say something, Tharos?
I was about to ask if that was the Warg night, but then I remember it wasn't. I just remember Brax played as a Warg.
Right.
Yep.
No, and then I did Warg Night. I think those were the only two I was actually on. But,
I think so.
It was still a lot of fun to do. I don't know that I could do it every week like you guys did, but it was fun.
Were you there for the Fellowship Walk? I don't remember.
Some of it. Yeah, some of it. I was there for every one, I think, except maybe one. But I think I was only on the call for one or two segments. Okay. And one segment, my microphone actually broke because I had to get a new headset next week because I think it was the first time I was on with Brannick, and I was trying to talk to him, and it was just not going anywhere.
Let's see. Well, we could have Brax answer every one of the questions we have done this entire stream, but that would probably not be advisable.
That would be pretty funny.
I'm totally impressed. When you guys started, I was at the pool 20 minutes away, and I've since come back, eaten dinner, gone back, and picked up one of my other kids, and then come back again, and you're still going.
Well, people have been gracious enough to continue to ask questions, and Pinely's been entertaining us by his lack of sleep.
Well, in 12 minutes, I'm signing off.
Fair enough.
Doing that around the same time. We have a question from Krell asking, how do you feel the dynamic of PvMP will change when Freeps become available to all? What are your thoughts on the upscaling in general?
Well, here's the thing that I hope that doesn't happen, is that there are so many Freeps that they have to make creeps so powerful that the 1v1 dynamic is gone. That's one thing that I loved about Riders of Rohan, is that 1v1s were possible, even if they weren't all balanced. There was definitely a class that you could kill on whatever class you were. And so that is what I hope to see the balance go to. When they bring in the extra freeps, is have a balanced number on both sides, or even a slightly unbalanced number, and have one side have a little bit of compensation for that, but not this drastic advantage to the freeps, because on most servers there are way more creeps right now, because that is the free way in. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Okay. Another question is, if you could get anyone on the show as a guest from the community or Turbine, who would it be and why?
It's a good question. Rowan Campbell probably would be my main guess right now, because he is the head of Turbine, and at least the public-facing side. And so that would be amazing if we had him on for an interview. And believe me, we've asked. So there you go. That would be my dream. And what was the last part of it? And why?
And why?
I think I answered that too, so we're good.
Yeah. Assuming no other questions, I might actually have to call it, for me at least.
Yep, I think that we had a great cast here, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining me on the stream, giving away your Tuesday evening. That is just amazing. Thank you so much for doing that, and thank you everyone for watching, asking questions, and most importantly, thank you all for supporting my channel the way that you have. It's been amazing, and I look forward to hopefully someday getting to a 500,000 view mark, where we can do a similar thing like this, or maybe we'll do this more often if there's enough demand for it, or something like that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you again real soon for the next 200,000 views. Till then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.